Welcome to another episode of Sheriff's Podcast, where we bring you the truth and nothing but the truth. But today, I want to start off by saying that a lot of people say that we pick on the win party and we pick on the other parties and so on. It's not that we pick on these parties. We are just merely trying to educate the population, right? The population in Guyana of what the promises made and promises delivered. Who are these people? And what are these people doing? Now, as it's not I don't think it's a running secret anymore that Mohamed is my stepfather-in-law. So, I know a lot of things about him that, in my personal opinion, and that's why I came on this podcast and we started this podcast, not because of Mohamed. This podcast is going to continue long after elections. We're probably going to be here for the next 10 elections, if I live so long. But, well, maybe my editor will continue to do it afterwards. But at the end of the day, we're just here to educate the population. Now, by educating the population, parties and political parties are getting mad. Certain political parties are getting mad. And they're bashing me personally, my family, and everybody on Facebook. Now, I have a thick skin. I really don't care what recordings are out there. I know that you guys take snippets of the edits of when I say about my podcast, and you would go and do it. We can do it here. People send us 7-8 voice notes together, and we put it inclusive of one voice note, because as you know, on Facebook you can't put several voice notes at the same time. Now, of course, when we put our snippets together, we put the truth. Unfortunately, when other people put their snippets, they put snippets of, they take what I say about one person, then another person, then another, and at this point, do I care? Do I really care? No. It's unbothered. I'm unbothered by it because of the untrueness of it. And because of a certain person cannot extort me anymore. We know that she's going to continue to pick on me. She's going to continue to pick on my businesses. I'm okay with that. I'm no longer going to pay nobody $3 million a month. 1. 2, try to extort me for $1 million US to not say or not pick on me. That's absolutely ridiculous. And I hope the 592 Association understands who they're dealing with. Up to now, nobody cannot produce a receipt or produce evidence of the $900,000 that we gave to Melly Mel. Well, let me rephrase that. We gave to Melly Mel's agent here in Guyana to the Young's family, right? And Melly Mel was right. She didn't put a gun to my head to say that I must donate this. I donated it out of my own free will. Because, of course, they're a poor family. They needed the help. There was no GoFundMe at that time. And then after I realized that they were going to do the autopsy in the United States, there was no wake, or if there was a wake, I'm not too sure. I do not ever want to be in a position to ever lose a daughter. And I am in sympathy. I don't know what the family is going through, but I'm sure they're going through a whole lot. And I don't like to stay the Adriana Young's topic a lot because it hurts me to it hurts me because I have two young daughters, and in this life, my mother taught me that you never know what can happen tomorrow, where you could be, or what can happen. So I will end that topic right there. I hope the family is doing well. I hope the mother and the father is recovering, and I hope that you find peace and you get justice at some point in this scenario that happened. I don't know, and I cannot comment on things that I don't know. But before I get to the Mohamed and the Maduro regime, I want to address something that came to me actually yesterday before I started my podcast. And my producer said to me, don't do it because, it's a ticklish subject. So, as you know, Hannah Mohamed has a problem with the LGBTQ, what is called now, community? No, is there another word letter to it? Yeah, LGBTQ community, right? And my editor said stay away from the topic. Actually, my producer said stay away from the topic a little because, it's a sensitive topic. But why should it be a sensitive topic in 2025? Why should Hannah Mohamed bash anyone that is LGBT?
It's part of the LGBTQ.
A part of the LGBTQ community. Now, I mean, aren't those persons people? When you cut them, they don't have the same red blood. Whatever their choice is, that's their choice. If I let's just say my wife gets pregnant and I get a boy child and he decides to be gay, as a father, what am I going to tell him? Am I correct, producer?
Yeah.
What I do? Beat it out to him? No. I can't. That is his choice. That he has to know what road he's going down. Now, by me saying this, you're gonna see a flu or a flurry of TikTok videos that now Amir is gay. Because as put before, apparently you can't sit uncomfortable. That's a problem in this country. If you sit uncomfortable, how you feel like sitting down, that's one problem in Guyana. Right? So, next thing you hear, because I pick up for the LGBTQ community, I am gay. Now, I'm not going to bash Hannah because she bashes me and put out recordings of me. Maybe she made a fair mistake. Right? Maybe she made a fair mistake. But this could... maybe she made a fair mistake. I don't think she really and truly goes against the LGBTQ community. And like I said, I like to be fair to people. But that could show you, Hannah and Azadine, and the people who are, or persons who are running your organization, you don't have the willpower, you don't have the knowledge to run a country or even be a presidential candidate. Let's just take a quick example of if somehow by some God-given miracle, Azadine becomes president. Now, an LGBTQ person like Utisha or one of those popular persons, or Angel, right? And whoever else, well, I only know Utisha because she's very famous. Have no problem with her. I think her choice is her choice. Whatever it is. That has nothing to do with me. But what if, let's just say Utisha comes to you and wants to shake your hand, Mr. Mohamed or Hannah, Will you refuse to shake their hand because they are LGBTQ? Are you anti-gay? Is your party not willing to accept those people and their votes? So basically that is what you're trying to say, is that Hannah put out an apology today. I really and truly I believe her apology. I'm not going to bash her on this subject. I read it and I believe it. But like Big Smith said yesterday, are you going to refuse those persons? Now, it is not right, but that could clearly show the Guyanese population and the public that the Win Party doesn't understand the politics of Guyana or the politics of the world. Do you know how many LGBTQ persons are there in this world? You would be amazed. But I apologize on behalf of Hannah Mohamed to the LGBTQ community for her disrespectful words to you yesterday, or the disrespectful picture that was posted. You have the right to do or be what you want to be. You do not let anyone tell you that you should be a certain way or there's a stigma attached to it. I have a cousin that's gay. I grew up with him. I have friends that are gay.
You have staff.
I have staff, many staff that are gay. But that doesn't mean that I will disrespect them or throw it in the face or those things. So, on behalf of the LGBTQ community, I, Amir Ahmad, apologize on Hannah's behalf of the disrespect that was sent out yesterday. Again, in this country, you can't even sit properly. If you sit with your legs crossed, is a problem. Editor, show them. If you sit with your legs crossed like that as a man, my uncle sits like that. My father sits like that. My whole family sits like that. Right? It's a problem. But now we know why they make a problem out of it. Because they don't like LGBT and Q community. And because I probably put my leg like this, they probably think I'm gay. Now, trust me, when you go on TikTok tonight, you're going to see a whole flurry of every third video I scroll, I see me. Right? That, oh, Amir is this, Amir is that. They're going to go spin the story. They're going to get their people to go, Amir is gay. They're going to put up a, what you call it, they're going to do their own snippets of recordings and whatnot, right? And I could care less, to be honest to you. Now, let's move on from that topic. But nobody should be disrespected for who they are, what they are, how they sit, how they move. That's their prerogative. Nobody comes to you and tell you why you marry a white man, why you marry a Kuli man, why you marry a Afro-Guyanese man, why you marry an East Indian man. Nobody come to you and tell you that. So you have no right. Anyways, like they say, I talk too much. So let me move on to my next topic. It's been more than 24 hours now since the Honorable Vice President, Dr. Bara Jagdeo, has taken his entire political career for Shell Mohamed to come out and say and to prove that he didn't visit the Venezuelan embassy in Guyana. It's been more than 24 hours. If you're not guilty of something, then there's no need to, what you call it, there's a need for you to put out a press release. I haven't visited it, and the man has staked his entire political career. Now, as I've said on this podcast over and over, I'm not a member of the PPP. I am not a candidate of the PPP. I just come on this podcast to say what's right and what's wrong and to educate my viewers on what has been going on in this country and what has been happening in this country. Now, for example, right? For example, we at Sheriff News Network and Sheriff Podcast, we cover a lot of PPP rallies. And one of the reasons we cover those rallies is because we want to educate, we cover those rallies so that the population out there can understand the policies, the progresses, the promises made, promises kept, and the promises over-delivered by the PPPC government. As you heard Bar Jagdeo said yesterday, the Honorable Bar Jagdeo, I do not speak for the PPP, nor I am the General Secretary. He is the General Secretary and he speaks for that party. I am just a fan and I am just speaking of how I feel and what I feel. So it's been more than 24 hours now since Shell Mohamed hasn't come out and give a public statement. You have Doggy coming out and do more public. In fact, I think Granger did more public statements than Azadin Mohamed. Am I correct?
Yeah.
We haven't heard one press conference from this guy as yet. So, how does this election affect us? This election affects us in a few ways, right? It affects us all Guyanese if we have a presidential candidate or a presidential hopeful doing backdoor dealings with a neighbor of ours, which is Venezuela, that is fighting for 3/4 of our country. Now, when you fight for 3/4 of our country, you're building military bases on your side, you're building bridges that wash away, and you're doing all of these different things, right? How is it that you can visit that embassy, allegedly ask a visa, so you're basically, and let me explain this to the Win supporters. Azadin Mohamed will never be president of Guyana. He will never be president of Guyana. So by you going out polling day, I cannot tell you who to vote for. But by you going out polling day and vote for him, you're wasting a vote. And if you go, when you go out there, you're basically not a, everybody that has a Win t-shirt on now, I will have to classify them as a traitor. And this is why I have to say this. Because Azadin Mohamed, for more than once, has been caught doing backdoor dealings with Nicolas Maduro. And by backdoor dealings, I mean that he's going to allegedly try to claim win when the election is carried out. Trust me. That's the type of person he is. He's going to try to put this country in chaos. He's going to pay people to protest. He's going to do all of these things. This is what I'm hearing allegedly, by the way, right? This is not coming from me. This is what I'm hearing from his camp allegedly. And do we want that for our country? Or do we want a peaceful, free, democratic election? Now, they don't have any plans for Guyana. They are basically wolves in sheep clothing, pretending that they have plans for Guyana. They're paying all these so-called influencers and all of these things because they want them to come on their side and say this and say that and put out things about different people and so on and so forth. But all of that is going to come to an end because we have a plan. All of that is going to come to an end. Now, Anil Nandalal, no, sorry, not Anil Nandalal. I think Joseph Hamilton, the Minister of Labor, said that two things is going to happen to Azzedine. He's either going to migrate and seek asylum at the Venezuelan embassy or in Venezuela, or he's going to go in shackles to the United States. And that is exactly what's going to happen. Azzedine Mohamed is only paying for your votes, and he's going out to these communities that doesn't have internet access, doesn't have internet towers, so they cannot see this podcast, they cannot see the different things people are saying about him and see the truth, right? The truth. And he's hoping that those people votes are going to get him the presidency. Now, those people votes cannot get you the presidency. Those people votes are important, but they cannot get you the presidency. And the PPP will not be in a minority government, in my opinion. They will be in a majority government. Because the other parties lack funding, they lack progress, they fool the sugar workers, they fool the cane cutters, they fool the rice farmers. So people see through them clear as day. Clear as day. So how are we now moving forward, and what am I trying to tell you? In conclusion, what I'm trying to tell you is that Azzedine Mohamed, before I go to in conclusion, let me just roll back this a little bit. Azzedine Mohamed had 3 or 4 vessels. Those vessels could be registered in Guyana. We have MARAD. MARAD is the organization that is responsible for Guyana waters, and vessels, boats, and these things, captains, licensings, and all of these things. Why not register your what you call it, your vessels in Guyana? Why register them in Venezuela? It clearly shows that you have a link to Venezuela, and not now, it's been a long time, and this is proof. We've put up this on this podcast.
This is before the sanctions.
Well, this is before the sanctions, but again, like my editor says, this is before the sanctions. Now, coming back to my point, Azzedine Mohamed, on his win page yesterday, had an entire Spanish tutorial telling Spanish people how to vote. The last time I checked, Guyana is an English-speaking country. Now, if you aren't trying to, or if you are not linked with the Maduro regime, then why put out a video like that? There has never been a video like that in any election cycle. Editor, can you remember if there's any? No political party has ever put out a Spanish-speaking video, right? And then you went, we got it off your page right away, and then you went ahead and you deleted it. If all of these things doesn't tell the Win supporters that Azzedine Mohamed is a puppet of Nicolas Maduro and is a puppet of what you call it, the Venezuela regime and the Venezuelan military, then I don't know what else to convince you. These are all facts that we've been putting out. This is not something that we make up on this podcast and telling you. We've been putting it out on Sheriff News Network. We've been putting it out on all of these things. So at the end of the day, I want you to understand, a vote for Win is a vote for you not being patriotic to your country. Up to this morning, I saw a lady said she just took out a picture with Adriana Mohamed, but she's not a fan of Win. She demanded that the photo was taken down of her, and we posted that up on Sheriff News Network. Look, I'm not going to tell you which party to vote for. I'm going to tell you when I go to the polling station, I'm voting for the PPPC. And when you put your X in that box, you put your X in the box neatly. You don't let your X touch the box. You don't let the X go outside the box. Vote for a party that shows progress.
Don't end this if you want to say something.
I'll take a 2 minutes break. Can you pull back the ads on, editor, please?
So,
about this Spanish-speaking person that Win had with their poster next to it. Can you put it on the screen? The propaganda page that Maduro has for Essecubo has now taken that video and now putting it and endorsing Adriana Mohamed. So now, can you put it on SNN as well?
yes, yeah, right.
Right?
Okay.
So now it's breaking news that Maduro is endorsing Adriana Mohamed. Because if you're putting this up on your page, on your propaganda page, it means that in Spanish, and they're not even calling it Essecubo, they're calling it Essequibo.
Essecubo.
Was it?
Essecubo, right, Carlos?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, this is to show you that, look, again, I can't tell you how to vote, but what I can tell you is who this man is. He's collaborating with your enemy. He's collaborating with somebody who wants to take 3/4 of Guyana and all its resources. And this is the person you're going to vote for? A vote for Win is a vote for being unpatriotic. And honestly, I don't understand, frankly, how GCOM isn't flagging these things. But again, I'm not a lawman. I'm not a lawyer. So I'm not going to flag GCOM for it. But I'm a little taken back that now you have a candidate that is basically endorsed by Maduro. And nobody is doing nothing about it. So why are we in the International Court of Justice fighting if the people in the Win jerseys, right, come out straight and tell the government of Guyana, y'all want to give away Essecubo? Because my point is, you're putting on the Win jersey, you're going to the rallies, and this is utter nonsense. We are not giving up a blade of grass. We are not. And then you have a candidate that is running, that is linked to the Maduro regime, been to the embassy, the most qualified man in Guyana, stake his entire political career and you coming out to prove him wrong. It's been past 24 hours and you haven't done it as yet. And now, breaking news, the propaganda page for Essequibo has now, and we have to call it propaganda. Maybe Maduro himself is running this page, we don't know. But we have to call it a propaganda page because Essequibo belongs to Guyana. Now, this is now saying that Maduro is endorsing you for presidency. Come on, Win supporters. Aren't you seeing the truth? Aren't you seeing what this man is trying to do? Giving this man even one vote is being unpatriotic of you. And like the Honorable Vice President said yesterday, he's targeting the communities that cannot see these things. But we are going to make sure that they see these things. Oh man, you're giving away with blade of grass? How about you let me come and take over 3/4 of your mansion that you have, right? How would you feel about that, Azadeen Mohamed? How would you feel about that, Hannah Mohamed? No, you wouldn't let me, right? Because that is your property. And Essequibo is our property. It is a shameful day in Guyana today that Maduro and his propaganda page has now endorsed the Win party. If I was the Win supporters, I will tear up my shirt, because then now you are unpatriotic. You are a sellout to Guyana if you support Win. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so appalled by this that I'm going to take my leave right now, because Essequibo belongs to Guyana, and I'm telling you, we are not giving a blade of grass, not a blade, not even the point, the top of the blade and grass. I'm not even giving away that. And it's not mine to give, because I'm not in government. I don't run for politics. I'm not a politician. Bash me all you want. I'm sure after this, another voice recording, you're gonna make up and come out. Go ahead, do what you got to do. Don't. You know the funny thing? Francis Bailey did this to me so much that it doesn't affect me. It used to affect me at first. Now, when he does it, I don't even watch it. I just look at it and say, this man's a complete madman. So when Hannah does it or Melimel does it, well, of course, she's an extortionist. It doesn't bother me. I'll be like, all right, let it put out more. Go ahead, put it out. Get it out there. Because every time you lash me with one, I got one saying that Philip Baldeo sending, you implicating, I don't know how true it is, that Dr. Philip Baldeo is sending or receiving monies to Shell Mohamed. Now a lot of people say that, oh, that recording is what?
It was poorly edited.
It was poorly edited. But guess what? We have the original. So whoever wants the evidence, come, I'll put it on a flash drive for you and give it to you. So not only Melimel is tarnishing the image more of Shell Mohamed and the Win Party and Odessa Primus, right? She's implicating other families. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take my leave. This is utter nonsense that we're seeing here, that Nicolas Maduro has now endorsed through his propaganda page, the Win Party. I'll catch you on the next one. Today is a sad day for Guyana. Trust me.